All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Devoted Heart Lauren with the Monday Awareness Upgrade. Woo! So happy Monday. Our theme for the week is kind of building off what my theme last week was, which is stop focusing on the squeaky wheel. So stop always focusing on what's not working and try to expand your awareness to all the things that are working, to all the thoughts that are fluidly moving through you, to all the things that are going well, to all of the ease, as opposed to just focusing on the resistance, the challenge, and all of that. So my theme this week is give yourself some credit. Okay, so it's kind of similar, but allow yourself to look at how far you've come, what you've achieved, the things that you have made happen that you might have previously thought weren't possible, okay, for yourself, just in your mindset and what you're doing in the world and what you have and your friends and whatever it is. Look at how far you've come and celebrate yourself for that, the challenges that you've faced, the ways that you have perhaps unintentionally been put into the fire and had to go outside of your comfort zone in order to grow. And then also the ways that you have intentionally done that. Okay, the things that you have put, the situations that you have put yourself in that you knew were going to be difficult, and you did it in service of getting to the next level, of growing in your awareness, in your mindset, in your business, in your relationships, in your life, in whatever way. So that's my invitation for you this week, and we're going to do kind of a little reflection meditation on that in order to look back and give yourself some credit for how far you've come. I want to mention that I guess the reason that this theme was inspired for this week is I've been getting the opportunity to share about my Live Your Yoga 13-week transformation program that's coming up, where I'm launching at the end of August 27th for the new moon. And I got to have a conversation with someone and a few people over the past few days about why am I doing this, what inspires me about the content that I'm sharing in the program that I've created. So I'll share again briefly here. So the program that I created, the Live Your Yoga 13-week transformation, is based in the yogic principles of the Yama and Niyama. So these are the first two limbs, the first two steps of the yogic path and the yogic practice. There's 8 of them in the Patanjali, based on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and his philosophy. So the first 2 steps, before we get to the asana, the most well-known part of the practice, the physical, the poses, before we get to the breath work, which some people are familiar with, and before we get to the meditation and absorption, or this idea of being sort of enlightened and connected all the time, we just look at the principles that tell us how to live in integrity, in alignment with ourselves, based on our inner workings and also based on our outer world. So the Yama and Niyama. I'm not going to share all of them right now, but I'm going to share the first 2. So Ahimsa and Satya are the first 2, and I think that everything usually comes back to those 2. So Ahimsa is non-harming or non-violence, and Satya is truth. So we can always look in any situation at who is being harmed here, who or what is being harmed. Am I harming someone else? Am I allowing myself to be harmed? Am I harming myself? Okay, so yoga is union or oneness, which means that we get to look at things in a big picture, holistic sense. So I can say, oh, like, I don't want to harm someone else. I don't want to say something that's not nice. I don't want to say something that's going to cause someone else to suffer. But we get to consider ourselves as part of that big picture, right? You are part of the equation of non-harming. Your truth is also important in that equation of non-harming. So if you're not sharing your truth, if you're suppressing your own voice and your own perspective, then that's harmful not only to yourself. I mean, it might feel obviously harmful to yourself because you feel kind of contracted and like you can't express yourself and you're not important and therefore you're not doing what really makes you light up in the world. But also, what if the world needs you? What if you are not only welcome in the world as an important perspective, an important piece of the puzzle, but that piece of the puzzle is needed, right, in order to get the whole picture? So these are the first two yama in the first step of this practice of yoga, of the 8 limbs. And these principles really changed my life. So looking back and giving myself some credit, and I say this oftentimes in my yoga teacher training graduations with my students who are then becoming new yoga teachers, that if I were to see myself now, like if my 16-year-old self were to sit here and look at me, talking and sharing or teaching yoga, just being a teacher, standing up in front of people, sharing myself, expressing, singing mantra, like things like that, I would be like so impressed with myself for overcoming the things that I've overcome in order to be able to get in front of people, in order to be able to share these teachings, in order to be able to go out on a path that's sort of less frequented and perhaps more challenging and more individual as far as, creating my own security and all of this, doing something different from what, my parents did or what they might have wanted me to do or whatever. So I would be so impressed with myself. My 16-year-old self would be like, wow, this is so cool that I'm living this life. So even though sometimes it's hard and sometimes I question things and, I have my own obstacles and my own mind stuff that I'm working through, I have come a long way. And this yoga philosophy, and in particular the yama and niyama, have really supported me to change my own life. So that's kind of like the overview of what I wanted to share. But these yogic principles can really support you to create more awareness of how you're interacting with the world and how you're regarding yourself, including yourself in the oneness and wholeness. You are part of the equation of non-harming. You are an important puzzle piece in this big puzzle of truth and oneness. So if anyone would like to talk more about the yama and niyama or explore the possibility of joining my 13-week program to transform your own life and awareness, I'm available for calls. I'm offering free Live Your Yoga breakthrough calls where we get to just see what you're up to in your life and where you want to go and see how I can perhaps support you with my program and through the lens of yoga philosophy. So that's my little share for today. And so now I want to just drop in and allow everyone who might be tuning in now or later to give themselves some credit. So sitting up tall, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Sitting up tall. Let your eyes close. And referring to last week, when I said stop focusing on the squeaky wheel, let's do that now. So find a glass is half full perspective of right now. Maybe it feels way more than half full, but at least half full. Notice what's working about this moment. Notice what's working about your life right now, the things that you can easily be grateful for. The things that feel easy, as well as the things that have come as a result of a great amount of work and effort, perseverance, burning through impurities. And then tune into at least one aspect of your life. Could be the big picture, could be more than one aspect, but at least one aspect of your life that a previous version of yourself would be like, wow, that's impressive, that's cool. Whether it's you even last year, 5 years ago, whether it's you as a teenager or as a child. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everything went exactly as planned and that this life or whatever aspect of this life that you're living now is something that you've been dreaming of since you were a child. But nonetheless, this younger version of yourself would be impressed and excited about something that you have done, or some way of being or mindset that you have cultivated. Sometimes we walk around with these blinders of self-judgment and insecurity. So see if you can just take off those blinders just for right now, just for these few minutes. Allowing yourself to be exactly as you are. To breathe into the things that feel good, and the things that you don't always give yourself credit for. Oops. And take a few more breaths. All right. Oops. And then open your eyes. Sorry about that. The Facebook version of this seems to have spontaneously ended. But coming back into right now and just noticing anything about that journey. Maybe it was hard, maybe it was easy, but we're practicing seeing things in this broader, holistic sense. Okay, so finding what's working in any given moment and also finding what's working that you have worked on. Okay, so giving yourself some credit for how far you've come. So if there's anything that anyone would like to share, I'd love to hear. I already did my little share that, just me getting to share this wisdom and be a yoga teacher and make an impact and be in front of people is pretty impressive for me based on who I used to be or what I thought I was going to do or how I used to feel sort of in my youth. So I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to hear anyone else's shares. And if you'd like to talk to me about potentially transforming your life using the Yama and Niyama yoga philosophy, please message me. And I'm offering these free calls for the next few weeks at least. All right. Have a great Monday. Take care. See you next week.